Hi, I'm Alois Bunjira and you're listening to the ZiFM Sport Podcast.
The hottest station in the nation. ZiFM Stereo.
It's Lionel Messi! He scored! The goal the world wanted!
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
It's Neymar trying to feed it through. It's a stretch and it's in! And I can't remember the last time I saw something like this. Extraordinary scenes.
The biggest interviews.
It's more difficult. Obviously, it's more difficult.
And all the analysis right here.
If they play poorly, they've come back, they've got all the excuses. They can't have it both ways.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
The Mountaineers have maintained their stranglehold of the Logan Cup as they lock down their third title in a row with a game to spare over the weekend. England continued the impressive form in the Six Nations as they ran in 4 tries against the hapless France. In the beautiful game, Manchester City hit Chelsea for 6 to maintain their lead in the Premier League ahead of Liverpool on goal difference. And the Castle Fives is back. Our very own Chris Gray joined Samuel Eto'o and the likes of Tinashe Nengomasha as well as Banyana legend Amandla Dhlamini in Johannesburg today as Castle Lager announced an expanded and improved edition of its popular continental 5-a-side competition. More detail following in the Castle Lager World Football Report in the second half of the show. My name is Mike Madoda, joined in the studio by Barry Manandi and Alois Munjira. The man behind the desk is Sean Tafirenyika. Chris might be in Joburg, but we'll still get to hear from her a bit later on.
The Warriors, the Chevrons, the Cheetahs, the Mighty Warriors, and the Sables. From the pool to the track to the field, we are Team Zimbabwe. The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis.
All right, Barry, you did talk about those hashtags pro feeds trivia. That is coming up straight after our play of the day. The one thing that you didn't do is tell the punters how they can go about that.
Send your hashtags to 0731168045. That's a WhatsApp number right here in the studio. Sean will be picking out a note. I threw Sean right under the bus. He's the one who picks the participant on a daily basis.
So if there's anybody who says it's sexist,
Yes,
it's Sean. Threw him right under the bus. Send your hashtags to 0731168045. We'll be picking whoever we're calling a bit later on in the show, but you have to be in it to win it.
Okay, let's get the show on the road with cricket news, where the Mountaineers maintain their dominance of domestic first-class cricket as they clinch the third Logan Cup title on the trot with a game to spare. The Mountain Goats thrashed title rivals, the Eagles, by 10 wickets in a top-of-the-table clash that they wrapped up with ease just after lunch on the 4th day at Old Hararians yesterday. Mountaineers needed only 17 runs to claim the title after they had dismissed their opponents for 213 and 255 runs in their 2 innings. Shingima Sakadza and Victor Nyauchi shared 14 match wickets equally between themselves after Mountaineers had forced a follow-on, having declared on a mammoth 452 for 9. Mountaineer skipper Tino Maoyo says the hard work paid off following his side's win.
We didn't have a good start to the beginning of the season. Lost the first game, but to be able to come back from that and win the next 3 comfortably and still, retain the trophy with the game in hand is a really good feeling. I think the guys have really put in. We had some tough sessions after the New Year break, but I think guys have really been a part of the team. They've gone and done what the coaches asked us to do, and I think the results are showing. I think we're lucky to have a fair share of decent spinners, decent seamers, decent batters. We've got a lot of experience in each department, the batting side, Hamilton and myself, in the spin department, Natsaim Shangwe, in the seamers department, Tendai Chakwara, Donald Tirapana, who both play in the national team. So, we've got a nice mix of experience and youngsters, and youngsters who want to learn, and youngsters who listen. So, I think when that comes together in the pot, it gives us a really nice group of personnel and guys that are wanting to learn, guys that sit and abide by what needs to be done. So it's worked out well for us again this season. A bit tougher than the last couple of seasons, and we hope that maybe in the shorter formats we can go on and get some trophies this season. We haven't done that for a couple of seasons.
That was a victorious Mountaineer skipper Tinashe speaking to the Mountain Goats. Yes, a victorious skipper, the Mountain Goats.
Yeah.
Tinashe speaking early on to Sean Tafirenyika, our producer, just to go through the scorecard for that match between the Mountaineers and the Eagles. We can tell you, of course, that the Mountaineers made 452 for 9 declared. Timison Maruma 120, Forster Mutizwa 85, and then Chamuchi Baba picking up a 3 for 89 for the Eagles. In reply, the Eagles 213, Regis Chakava 64, Richard Mutumbami 51, and the man doing the damage for the Mountaineers with the ball, Shingi Masakaza, who snared 4 for 31, as did Victor Nyauchi, who also took 3 for 43. Following on, the Eagles made 255. Richard Mutumbami, he had a good outing with the bat. He made 99, falling painfully short of a century by just one run. Regis Chakava again shining with the bat. He made 46. Victor Nyauchi and Shingi Masakaza, the two bowlers for the Mountaineers, doing all the damage. Victor Nyauchi 4 for 81, Shingi Masakaza 3 for 62. And of course, it meant that the Mountaineers just had a few runs, just a little over a dozen to get. They did so easily without the loss of any wicket. 17 without loss. Roy Kaya 11, the man, of course, who got the most of those runs, meaning that the Mountaineers easily saw off the second-placed Eagles by a mammoth 10 wickets. And it's a telling result between the team at the top and the team in second, Barry.
Yeah, 1 versus 2, and it ends 10 wickets in favour of the one on top. I think it shows the gulf in class between the sort of champions and the also-rans. And I think Mountaineers have been far and away the best team in this edition of the Logan Cup. And I think that it bodes well for the shorter formats of the game. Hopefully that they can put this form and move it into the shorter formats of the game. But in truth, we know that never happens.
Yeah, it never happens. But of course, we just have to take, Barry, the good that we've seen, the positives that we've seen in the Logan Cup. In this match, of course, there was a century by man of the moment, Timison Maruma, 120. And of course, that actually underpinned a solid platform for the Mountaineers to build their victory on. Taking a look at the standings in the Logan Cup with just one match left to play, that's the Mountaineers taking on bottom place Tuskers. So that one is essentially a dead rubber. The Tuskers cannot move from fourth, and the Mountaineers cannot be displaced, and they cannot go any higher. In fourth place, the Tuskers are 14 points. Eagles have got 26 points. They are in third place, dropping, of course, one down. Rhinos are one up. They have got 29 points from their 6 matches, and then the Mountaineers have got 36 points. So comfortably the winners of the 2018-2019 Logan Cup competition. Of course, earlier we heard from Tinashe, who's enjoyed a successful stint as skipper, Barry, of the Mountaineers. You know, it's now 3 titles on the spin for the Mountain Goats, as they're called. I love that nickname.
I love it.
Listen, there are those that feel that he should now be getting another look regards the chevrons, and of course him being involved around the Zimbabwe test squad on the back of him leading the Mountaineers so ably. And what are your thoughts on that?
He has led the Mountaineers very ably, and kudos to him. His captaincy, the decisions he's made shrewd decisions. Also his partnership with their coach Shepard Makunura, a guy I went to school with, Sage Stream actually.
Okay,
they're two guys who understand the game. And you can tell even when you hear from Tinashe, he gets it.
Yeah.
So consequently, he's able to lead. But you have to do more than lead in the chevron setup. You have to actually perform. And the performances, unfortunately, haven't followed for Tinashe. So I'd say yes, give him a call up to the national side, but not necessarily to come out and wield the willow in the way that he used to. I would say get him in and around the squad, because we've been sorely lacking leadership, and we need a player like that.
Okay, cricket fans, let's hear from you on WhatsApp 0731 168 045. Tinashe, should he be getting a look at by the selectors for the chevrons for the Zimbabwe Test squad for assignments to come in the future. That number again, 0731 168 045. You're also on Twitter and Facebook. Follow and interact with at ZiFM Sport. Coming up, we give you a local sports news roundup, take a bit of a breather, and then we go international with our sports news, where our focus is rugby Six Nations Championship.
Hi, my name's Ryan Cairns, Sunshine Tour professional golfer, and you're listening to ZiFM Sport.
In golf, Zimbabwean golfer Benjamin Follett-Smith fired a solid 66 in yesterday's final round to claim a two-shot victory and his maiden Sunshine Tour title at the Ram Cape Town Open after starting the final round trailing overnight leader Jean-Paul Strider by 6 shots. Follett-Smith shot 6 birdies and an eagle to blow away the competition, finishing at 13 under par 275 at the Royal Cape Golf Club. The 24-year-old accredited his victory to the experience he gained from participating and winning in South Africa's development tours and representing the country at the World Cup of Golf in Australia. Some softball news now. Zimbabwe Softball Association is looking to build a strong team for the World Baseball and Softball Confederation qualifier scheduled for May this year. Now, the association is conducting national selection team camps for women's team, and softball head coach Eldon Mudzingwa said he has been impressed by the turnout in Harare recently. The tryouts are supposed to get 30 players into camp, which will later be trimmed to 25 players. And wrapping it up with football news, where FC Platinum touched down in Guinea capital Conakry last night for their must-win CAF Champions League Group B encounter against Horoya tomorrow. The Zimbabwean champions are placed at the bottom of the group with 1 point from 3 games, and they need maximum points to stand any chance of remaining in contention to qualify for the quarterfinals. Here on ZiFM Sport, we quote the words of Pep Guardiola to FC Platinum: play with courage.
Here we go again.
Enjoy world-class radio online. ZiFM Stereo is available on TuneIn. Search for ZiFM Stereo and you got it. To all you Twitter heads, connect with ZiFM Stereo on twitter.com/ZiFM Stereo. /ZiFM Stereo.
From the front of the grid to the back of the net, it's ZiFM Sport. International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play.
Six Nations Rugby, where England wing Johnny May said it was an awesome and very special thing to score 3 tries as the Roses annihilated France 44-8 in front of 82,000 at a damp and bitterly cold Twickenham yesterday. Damien Penaud snatched France's only try on a miserable Six Nations day for Le Bleu as they were well and truly put to the sword. Let's hear from the man of the match, Johnny May.
Yeah, that was the challenge, I guess, trying to raise the bar after a really good team performance last week, but we came out and we definitely played some good rugby at times today. It's just the brand of rugby we're trying to play. We want to put teams under pressure. I'm just doing my job, and I know they're scoring tries, but they're equally as important to everybody else's role, and everybody's working hard and we're putting some good performances together. We've just learned a lot over the last 12 months or so, and we've worked incredibly hard, and persistence pays off in the end.
And scoring tries, it's got to be fun. I wouldn't know. You clearly do.
No, it's special. Like you said, I remember this day. To score a try for your country is awesome, and especially at Twickenham, so I'm very grateful, feel very lucky.
Johnny May, the standout player for the Roses, with a hat trick versus bitter rivals for France at Twickenham. And you take a look at the tactics that were employed by French coach Jacques Brunet. I mean, bizarrely. I mean, we're talking about Njuga Kubora, but I think this time to Njuga Rugby, because what he did was that despite the abundance of options that he has in the French top 14, which is ostensibly the best competition in world rugby, he bizarrely selected 2 centres as wings, and then he had a wing playing at fullback. And defensively, Barry, they were found short.
100%. And, you know, we can crow about Johnny May's 3 tries, but 2 of them came as a result of kicks in behind Penaud. And the other one was from a Farrell pass that many wings would have intercepted, and taking the other... he was simply sidestepped because they're not natural wingers, the outside men. So the back three, I think, selection gave them the weakness, a soft center, as it were, not a soft center, a soft back. And England, to their credit, exploited the back three who weren't good enough on the day.
Yeah, absolutely. It was not like England played particularly well. I think they were decent enough to beat what was put in front of them. And all good sides have to do that. But they exploited, and gamely so, the bizarre selections of the French coach. And of course, there were other matches that were played this past weekend.
They were indeed. Tries from Conor Murray, Jacob Stockdale, and Keith Earls ensured Ireland returned to winning ways with a 22-13 success over Scotland in their Six Nations clash at Murrayfield. Warren Gatlin's experimental Wales team overcame Italy in Rome 26-15, but it took time to eventually shake off their hosts, meaning that England tops the table with 10 points. Wales in second on 8 points. You got to think one of those two is going to ultimately win the Six Nations. And third is Scotland on 5 points. Ireland are in fourth with 4 points. France with their 1 point are in fifth. And then at the bottom, anchoring the table, is Italy, yet to score from the 2 games they've played. The next fixtures, that's round 3 of the Six Nations, are next weekend. It's France versus Scotland, Wales versus England, possibly title decider, and then Italy versus Ireland.
Zimbabwe's finest radio. ZiFM Stereo.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International sports news.
Let's sail off in St. Lucia, where Mark Wood answered West Indian pace with fearsome heat of his own as the fast bowler claimed his first 5-wicket innings haul in Tests and put England in control on the second day of the third and final Test yesterday. Playing his first match of the series, Wood tore through the heart of the home side's batting to finish with 5 for 41 as the West Indies, replying to England's first innings total of 277, crashed from 57 without loss in mid-afternoon to 154 all out an hour before the close of play. Over to Pennsylvania, Joel Embiid scored 37 points and grabbed 14 rebounds to lead the Philadelphia 76ers to a 143-120 victory over the LA Lakers. Embiid's efforts ensured it was the 23rd time this season that he has scored at least 30 points and claims 10 rebounds, the most by any Philadelphia player since Charles Barkley managed it 27 times in 1987-88. In the Bay Area, DeMarcus Cousins, the boogeyman, made 2 tie-breaking free throws with 5.4 seconds remaining as the Golden State Warriors survived a 3-point shooting assault by the Miami Heat to cling on for 120-118 victory. And we touch down in Wellington, where All Blacks loose forward Liam Squire will join the post-Rugby World Cup gold rush and chase the big money in Japan. According to the Stuff website, Squire has signed a deal with the club yet to be made public and will snip his ties with the game in New Zealand after the World Cup in Japan later this year. Although New Zealand Rugby will be disappointed to lose a player who will be only 28 when he leaves, they will not be blindsided by his move, as it's understood Squire and his management have kept the organisation informed of their plans to negotiate with a Japanese club.
Well, you take a tap in these circumstances.
The Daily Sports Trivia question is brought to you by Profeeds. Profeeds, your feed and farm professionals.
It is indeed competition time. Well, if you want to participate, you can do so by simply sending us a WhatsApp message with a hashtag ProFeedsTrivia, and you might be the one lucky listener we call back. You field 2 questions, and if you get both correct, you'll be our daily winner and in with a chance of winning our fabulous first prize of 2019, and that is a Capri Double Door 290-litre fridge. We'll be holding our first draw for this year on Friday, the 22nd of February.
Okay, we've got a caller on the line courtesy for our producer Sean, and he's the one you hurl all your abuse to if we don't get to call you. But this evening is the chance of Lincoln Shaba out in Lalapanzi. Lincoln, how are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. How are you?
Good. How's Lalapanzi, Baba?
Good right.
Good right, steady.
Saka
timu dzenyu dzamunomhanya nadzo mukomande dzipi tiudzei muno muZimbabwe then yokunze kwenyika?
muZimbabwe ndaimboda Dynamos, but these days
kochi chakaitika?
It's so frustrating kama mjijikwa.
Wakaneta nokujikiwa?
Because my supporters muri off form. You're off form.
Then abroad?
Manu.
Manchester United.
There you go.
Ndopa unoti geje na bunjira.
There you go.
And mazwane yakadziya ka Man United. Nice one. Are you ready for your 2 questions, Baba?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, the first one is local, and then the second one is from international, okay? If you've been listening into the show, these 2 questions should be easy for you. The first question is, name the defending 3-time champions of the Logan Cup cricket competition. Name the defending 3-time champions of the Logan Cup cricket competition.
Hey. I have a clue.
Tavataura wena.
Hey.
Tavataura.
I wasn't listening.
Saka usutera udango wina chete.
No, kakubata chirongwa.
Okay. Alright, gandikupe hanzi wemugomo.
Remember, it's local.
Yeah. Mountaineers. Well done.
Well done.
And then our second question, okay? This time we're not going to be so easy for you, okay? Which nation plays its home rugby matches at Murrayfield? Which nation plays its home rugby matches at Murrayfield?
The accent is a clue.
Murrayfield. Can I give you a clue?
Yes, please.
Okay. The nation. Okay, I'll give you multiple choice. Is it Ireland? Is it England? Or is it Scotland? Ireland?
Scotland.
Scotland. Well done.
Well done, mate. Good job.
Well done, Lincoln. We're going to guess up. But what it means, Lincoln, is that you are going to be in the first draw for this year, and that is happening in exactly 10 days' time on Friday, the 22nd of February, and you could be the winner of that fabulous first prize of the year, which is a Capri double door 290-litre fridge. All the best.
Okay, thank you.
Cheers.
The Daily Sports Trivia question was brought to you by Profeeds. Profeeds, the performance feed.
Alcohol may be hazardous to health if consumed to excess. The operation of machinery or driving after the consumption of alcohol is not advisable. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18 years.
Castle Lager is more than just beer. It's pure liquid gold, crafted from the finest local ingredients to deliver a taste that is somewhat dry, somewhat bitter, but never sweet. It's the taste that stood the test of time. It all comes together with a castle.
The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZiFM Sport.
The Castle Lager World Football Report kicks off at the Castle Fives. We're following the success of Castle Lager's inaugural Africa Fives Football League. The vibrant continental showpiece makes a return, extending its reach to new African countries. This year's addition to the initial group of 6 countries will see the inclusion of Ghana, Nigeria, as well as Uganda. Over and above the increase to the footprint, Castle Lager has further diversified by introducing a women's league. Let's hear from our very own Chris Gray, who is in Johannesburg for the Castle Fives.
Guys, it's Chris Gray. I am still out in Johannesburg with Castle Lager, and we just came from the launch of the Castle Africa Fives. Absolutely brilliant event. And this year they've gone bigger, they've gone better, and bigger and better, not just because they've included 3 other countries. So they have now included Uganda, Nigeria, and Ghana. Those are also going to be in the Castle Africa Fives tournament. But also there is now a women's league. Yay, finally. It actually didn't take Castle Lager too long for them to recognize the fact that they needed to include a women's league. And Castle Lager is a brand that's very big on inclusivity. And what they wanted to do was make sure that women were included. So just a year into launching the Castle Africa Fives, and they've included a women's league. So big shout out to Castle Lager. Really great step there. It's a really great step that they're taking in terms of expanding the competition, because this year it means a lot more young people across the continent are included. And what happens with fives is, because it's a lot more tactical, you find that there are certain skills that are learned faster, or that young Africans can actually pick up in competitions like this. And that's one of the reasons why they've decided to expand the competition, is to make sure that more people are included and more people actually get to participate and to learn from the legends. That's one. Also, just the opportunities that come from that exposure itself, absolutely great. This time, the host nation is going to be Tanzania. So we will be heading out there for that for the final. And it's going to be absolutely brilliant. Like I said, this year, bigger, better. And next year, they look forward to adding 3 more countries to the competition. So very big thank you to Castle Lager for bringing me out here. It's been an absolutely brilliant experience meeting all of these legends, and also just getting to work with a brand that is so set on making sure that we all come together.
Thanks to Chris Gray there, who is in Johannesburg for the Castle Fives, which was launched earlier this afternoon in Johannesburg. The campaign will be spearheaded by Africa's football icon Samuel Eto'o, is joined by Matthew Booth from South Africa, Ivo Mapunda from Tanzania, Tinashe Nengomasha from Zimbabwe, Christopher Katongo from Zambia, Caesar Dhlamini from Swaziland, and of course Banyana legend Amandla Dhlamini. Let's hear from one of the brand ambassadors, a former Mamelodi Sundowns and Bafana defender Matthew Booth, who paid tribute to the investment made by Castle Lager in football.
Well, I think they've got the clout to roll out a program of this magnitude. I think they've also supported our local game, and particularly in Southern Africa, they've put enormous amounts of capital into our game through our national team, through my experience mostly over the last 2 decades, I think, and they continue doing it, which, in some aspects they might not have. They might have pulled out, and they would have had every reason to have done so, but they've continued to put money into the game. So without our corporates, I think we wouldn't be very far as a nation, and I don't think we would be able to fill the gaps in our development system, and the gaps in our development system are enormous.
That was Matthew Booth from Bafana and Mamelodi Sundowns defender. And we're privileged to have one of Matthew Booth's former teammates in studio, Alois Munjira. Alois, you played with Matthew at Mamelodi Sundowns, and I know you are someone who's very keen, not just on football, but also the marketing aspects and the branding aspects of football. And how happy are you with the level of investment that you have seen from Castle Lager locally as well as regionally in terms of their participation in football?
Obviously, Mike, Castle has been leading the way as far as promoting football is concerned. They are touching every corner of football, be it development, be it for fun, be it just marketing around sport, in general, to just have people enjoying football. It's actually very, very, very much appreciated. I like what Castle are doing, especially, with this five-a-side. It touches both sides of development. It touches fun as well, because there are players that are going to be involved that might just play top flight football from that. Then there are those ones that are just going to be playing there to enjoy. Then those ones that are just there to just see the brand growing, and I'm happy. And for them to involve the legends, the big legends that they are doing as well, it actually brings in even more people, because these guys, they come in with their fans, band of fans that are actually going to be attracted to the game even more and to the brand Castle.
And Barry, of course, this year it's Chris Gray and Robson Sharko from Zim Papers who are out in Johannesburg. Last year it was you, Barry Menandi, and Yvonne Mangunda of Star FM, who of course were at the inaugural edition of the Castle Fives. Now, Barry, this is a wonderful initiative, isn't it, by Castle, because they are playing it out at so many different levels. There is the sales aspect, which is of course the promotion. There are the branding opportunities that they've got in this particular promotion. There's the sporting aspect as well, and then there's of course what Alois was talking about, the social aspects, where you're fostering goodwill amongst your customers and those that will patronize you.
Yeah, 100%. And if you look at all those 4 elements that you talked about, they espouse there, and I feel like I'm speaking like a marketing manager and for Castle.
I want you to do that, actually.
But if you look at those four elements that you talked about, they all espouse the positioning statement of Castle Lager. It all comes together with a castle. And I think that it plays it out very, very nicely in the sense that you've got people coming together, and there's nothing that brings men and women together more than five-a-side football. You've got, I think you and I have been participating in five-a-side football for many years, and we've met people who are still friends today as a result of going through the five-a-side system. So five-a-side, by its very nature, it's very competitive, but it still brings people together. The ethos of Castle Lager.
Absolutely, that ethos, Barry, of course, of it all comes together with a castle. That includes people as well, and no doubt Castle Lager would have looked back at last year's edition, and the one vital element that was missing was our ladies, the women. They too are drinkers of Africa's finest lager, Castle Lager, and they have not been left out this time out. And their brand ambassador in this year's project is Banyana legend, and that is Amandla Dhlamini, who speaks to Chris Gray on the value of such initiatives to the women's game.
I think as women in the footballing space, we always want to engage with big corporates to actually empower women's football. So I think Castle have done such an amazing job in empowering women through sports and through soccer. So what this does for the African continent is for all women, as feminine as we are, to embrace football, not only in 11v11, but the social cohesion of what Africa Fives brings. So I think I'm just really super excited and hope that the African continent, especially the women, can really embrace this full force.
A definite kudos to Castle there for having that aspect, calling for the participation of women. Now, if you want to find out how you can participate, I guess that's what you all want to find out, okay? Consumers can participate in the 2019 Africa Fives by simply purchasing a Castle Lager 6-pack and then following the instructions on how to enter their team. Then you can, of course, go to the Africa Fives website. That is www.africafives.com to further engage on the campaign. And every Monday on this edition of ZiFM Sport, of course, we'll be giving out more detail on how you can participate. If you are a Zimbabwean out there, if you love your castle, you love your football, this is the perfect promotion to get involved in. You could be in line to win a fantastic all expenses paid trip to Europe in the company of Samuel Eto'o. Castle at the moment, Barry, keeping that a secret, but this is something to die for, isn't it, for the football fan?
It absolutely is, and you have no doubt that that trip is going to be to somewhere idyllic, somewhere where though that team that wins the tournament is going to enjoy. Oh, let it be Ibiza, please. Let it be Ibiza, please. Let it be Ibiza, and let David Guetta be there at the same time, and also black coffee. Oh my God, let it be Ibiza, please. Let it be Ibiza.
All the rivalry.
The touch paper. It is blue touch paper. Always him on Derby Day.
All the stars.
Absolutely brilliant again from Mo Salah. The twinkling feet, the ice cold finish, the Egyptian on fire.
And all the game-changing moments.
Aguero!
All the updates from the Premier League on ZiFM Sport.
This is the league we want to watch.
There is no passion, there is no vision, there is no aggression, there is mindset in this football club. Nothing is there. What the hell is there in this football club? Tell me now. What the hell is there? Last 16 years, this much defeat I've never seen. You forsake a defensive coach for not getting the results, and now you appoint an attack-minded coach without giving him world-class players, and you expect him results. What do you appoint attack-minded coach for? What do you appoint? To get battered and embarrassed 6-0 at Etihad? Like this batting, for this batting you appoint an attack-minded coach. Sari ball, it's him, Sari ball. You won't give any players, you won't give money, nothing you will give. You loan out players and you expect them to play Sari ball. Louder ball, shut ball that one. Shut up all that was. Shut up all. And this type of performance is simply not accepted. And the players have to just resign all the wages. Sack all their wages. That's it. For 1 week. Not for 1 week, for 1 month.
Wow. Oh, wow. Do you know what, Mike? I'm passionate about my team, but that guy takes the cup.
Yeah, you know what?
Takes the cup.
I think it's the way he watched Chelsea yesterday implode at the Etihad. It was never going to be about Chelsea beating Man City. You know, it reminds me, because there are very few teams who will be able to beat the City side. Not when they're in the mood they are in. You won't be able to beat them. You'll be very lucky to stay close to them. And I remember last year when I visited the Emirates Stadium, and it was at the peak of the disgruntlement around Arsene Wenger, and they lost 3-0 to Man City at the Emirates Stadium. And I remember the one thing that the Arsenal fans around me, when I spoke to them, talked about competing. They talked about, we want to see our team compete. We want to see our team fight. It's not about winning, but we want them to wear that shirt with pride. What Chelsea fans saw yesterday were players who were devoid of pride, players who lacked the fight, players who lacked pride, and players who decided, you know what, that whatever happens on the field of play can happen, because we've got our contracts. We don't care. Our wages coming in at the end of the week, and this guy here, if there's anyone who's going to be fired, it's the coach, because teams don't fire players.
And that fan, albeit very passionately, and we laugh about it, but he articulated some fantastic
players like Marcos Alonso yesterday. Come on,
Hazard, you're losing 4-0 and you're walking. The ball, ball is about 10 meters from where you are.
Even Kante yesterday had a bad game. That just goes to show you that things at Chelsea right now are not right, Alice.
Yeah, I was talking to my friend, and I was like, you know what? If they want to get this team right, they have to. The coach must dismantle this team. They need to dismantle this team and start afresh. Never mind, they need to sacrifice the year and say, you know what, this year is a write-off, let's start afresh. And the first person to go should be Hazard. Hazard should go. They should cash in. They must sell him, get good money and get good replacements and start afresh. Maybe with a different coach, I don't care, I don't know. But this team needs to be dismantled and start afresh, and the new coach must come with new bricks to start building this team again.
You know what? They lost to a fantastic Manchester City side. Yes, it was 6-0, but in truth, there's something horribly wrong at Chelsea, because they've lost 3 of their last 6 Premier League games, all away from home, meaning they sit outside the top 4, a point behind Manchester United. And a worried Maurizio Sarri was unable to explain Chelsea's recent form after their defeat, and says it is right, he is under pressure.
Well, at the moment I am not able to explain, because during the week my feeling was really very good during the training. So at the moment, I don't know, maybe the goal, we consider the goal after 3 minutes and against these opponents, then was really very difficult to play, and was really very difficult not to give them spaces, and so we were in trouble. But I am not able at the moment to understand, because as I said before, during the week my feeling was really very good.
So Bunj, Maurizio Sarri's got no answers. Chances are we know Roman Abramovich's likely answer, which is to fire the coach, but is it the right one?
No, I don't think firing the coach is the right one. I actually think that he needs to tell the coach that, you know what, you have got the authority. You know what, if there's any bad apple in the team, we have written this season off, you need to take the bold step. You need to put the trust on the coach. If I was Abramovich, I was going to give trust. We know what Sarri has done, man. We know how good he is and all that. He's being undermined here. He is being undermined.
We saw Sarri ball earlier in the season. It works. Yes. The players are letting him down.
He's being undermined. It works. And you know what? There's a lot of talk around Jorginho right now about how bad a player he is. But when Chelsea started the season, a lot of people were talking him up.
They were convinced. They were convinced he was
as a good player. And Sarri Ball was trending on Twitter, the hashtag Sarri Ball. So it was working. What has changed is up here, in between the ears for the players. And of course, their beating heart. That's what's changed. It took just 1 or 2 bad results for them to start sulking. They look like they're a team who feel like they're entitled to success.
Good time, Charlies.
We are good players, and therefore results should come for us. Success must follow us. But they must learn that, you know what, you've got to work. If you take a look at that Chelsea squad, I believe that Chelsea has got a better squad than Liverpool.
It's a league championship winning team.
It's a league championship winning team. It's a team, I believe, some of the options that they have, it's a team that should be challenging, still up there. And the start they had to the campaign shows you that they have a very good team. But for me, they lack the heart and they lack the fight.
And of course, having that unbeaten start at the start of the season. Other results out of England: Liverpool cruised to a 3-0 win over Bournemouth at Anfield. Goals from Davinson Sanchez, Christian Eriksen and Heung-min Son saw Tottenham stay in the title race with a 3-1 win over Leicester at Wembley. And then Alex Iwobi and Alexander Lacazette gave Arsenal an unconvincing 2-1 win at Huddersfield to keep their top four chase on track.
The league that makes football oh so beautiful, where artistry and strokes of genius are the order of any day, where the game is played with a smile and the little master creates his magic.
It's Lionel Messi!
All the news from the Spanish La Liga on ZiFM Sport.
The goal the world wants it!
Uruguayan ace Luis Suarez has bemoaned a lack of communication among Barcelona's players as the La Liga leaders dropped points for the second week running after being held to a goalless draw by Athletic Club last night. Barca missed a chance to move 8 points clear of second place Real Madrid, but did manage to restore their 6-point gap at the top thanks to 2 stunning saves from Marc-Andre ter Stegen. And elsewhere, Gareth Bale's 100th goal for Real Madrid to help the club leapfrog City rivals Atletico Madrid into second place in La Liga after a comprehensive 3-1 derby victory at the Wanda Metropolitano on a Saturday. You watched the Barcelona game yesterday, Baz?
I did, yeah. And in truth, it looked like Barca were in about third gear. And that third gear wasn't good enough to beat a very good Athletic Club. They were at the races. And Inaki Williams, what a player.
What a player. And for Real Madrid, Alois, you've got to say a good result for them versus their city rivals, Atletico Madrid, at the Wanda Metropolitano of all places.
Of all places. Yeah. Of all places. I watched the match and I was like impressed. You know what I like about Italian football? About Spanish football. I
told you love Italian football.
Yes. Way too much. Always on your mind.
I tell you, the speed in which this game is played in Spain, and the technical ability of the players, the ball control, the twist and turns, the pinpoint passes. Yes, it's not like that. You can actually see that these guys are well drilled. They play properly. They prepare properly for a match. And I was impressed with Real Madrid. They came in with a purpose and they actually showed that they really wanted this and they got it.
Horsepower unmatched. Torque to beat the best. Speed unrivaled. Sleek and easy on the eye. Let's get behind the wheel of football engineered to perfection. The Bundesliga, made in Germany.
Your Bundesliga results, 5-1 Mainz were beaten by Bayer Leverkusen at home. Borussia Dortmund and Hoffenheim paying out a 3-all draw. Hertha Berlin, a good road victory over Borussia Mönchengladbach, ended at 3-0 in favor of Hertha. Hanover 2-0 over Nuremberg. Leipzig and Eintracht Frankfurt played out a 0-all draw. Another draw between Freiburg and Wolfsburg, but a score draw. It was 3-all that one ended. Bayern Munich 3-1 over Schalke. Werder Bremen 4-0 over Augsburg, and Fortuna Düsseldorf beating Stuttgart 3-0.
Let's go across the Alps into Italy to give you the results from over the weekend. Roma too good for Chievo on the road, 3-0. Fiorentina and Napoli could not be separated. It finished goalless. Parma beaten at home by Internazionale 1-0. Bologna and Genoa in a 1-all draw. Atalanta got the better of Spal 2-1, while Sampdoria lost at home surprisingly to Frosinone 1-0. Torino got the better of Udinese 1-0, and Juventus too good on the road for Sassuolo 3-0, whilst AC Milan beat Cagliari convincingly 3-0 at San Siro.
There was the small matter of the Soweto derby,
Yes.
gentlemen.
Yeah.
Quick one into there. Your thoughts, Michael? Did you watch the game?
Yeah, watched the game, and I thought, to be honest, that Kaizer Chiefs were lucky to get a draw.
Yeah, they were lucky.
They were very lucky.
I'd sadly agree with that.
They were lucky.
They were dominated, but Orlando Pirates didn't have their shooting boots on, and the penalty as well, a bit against the run of play. And also, I thought Kama really melted.
Yeah, he
there was
contact.
There was contact, but for him to twirl around like a ballet dancer, but the contact was there.
Yes.
But I think Kaizer Chiefs just didn't have it in them to see it out until the end. You know, the pressure was relentless from Orlando Pirates, and in the end, Orlando Pirates got their just desserts, which is the equalizer.
Yeah, the Buccaneers were the better side.
Yeah, they were the better side, but apart from all, I enjoyed the atmosphere.
Oh, it was fantastic. Yes. Albeit that fans arrived late, they got there in the end, and
they will never
a fantastic
change.
atmosphere.
Year after year after year, they'll always be late for the derby.
They should close the gates at 1:30.
Like Zifa. Learn from Zifa.
May God richly bless you. That's my story, and I'll stick into it. Manandi, out.
Be sure to catch ZiFM Sport every weekday on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
Imagine a world like
Z, music for the grown and sexy.
up till I'm sleep on
The fine
the
fun for the girls like
I know what they want. They want that good thing. They wanna get
Z. Playing today's music first.
you are the realest.
Hit after hit.
Shake it for your daddy. Shake it for your daddy. Don't stop, don't think of the mouth.
We're the station that beats all the competition.